Going on, everybody? It is Joe. Welcome to the channel. Today we have an exciting day going over XRP today. Can XRP hit $10,000 like some people are predicting? We will talk about that at the end of the video. I am excited to go over those predictions. I'm going to give you some of my projections, and then other than that, we're just going to go over some of the big news surrounding XRP today. So if you could, please like the video, please subscribe, please comment below. I will respond to your comments, and I am excited to interact with you guys, and if you subscribe, it would mean the world to me. With that being said, let's kind of dive right into XRP and get started here. So XRP in the last day down close to 3%, right around 240. We've been around 240 for quite a bit now. But what I like to do when thinking about XRP is just think about the long-term view. XRP is one of those coins where you get in it and you believe in the utility, you believe in the usage, you believe that it's going to get adopted. So you're holding for the long run. You're not holding for the short run. If you are, you're going to see a lot of swings. But looking at the long run, for example, we're up 350% in the last year. That's pretty bullish to me. But I think, like we'll talk about later on, there's some people that say it could go to $10,000 a coin. Do I think that's going to happen? Not necessarily, but we'll touch on that at the end. But when you are in XRP, you're in it for the long run for the most part, and you're kind of just setting some money aside. You believe in the utility, and you aren't getting worried about these ups and the downs, the 20% swings that happen in a day. When it drops 20%, you're not getting worried and you're not holding because you believe in the future of XRP. And we're going to go over some of that bullish news here in a second, but this isn't financial advice by any means. But looking at the long term, I just would encourage you guys not to get shaken out before this bull run starts. I think that's what's really going on right now is they're trying to shake a lot of people out. They're trying to create a nervous sentiment around XRP and some of these other coins and get the average consumer out, get them to sell their coins, sell their stash, and then all of a sudden that bull run's going to start and they're going to be buying back at prices that are twice as high and wish they would have just held. So that's what I'm doing. If you're dollar cost averaging, these are great times to buy. When you're buying during these times of consolidation, when the news isn't super bullish, that's when you can accumulate. When all of a sudden XRP goes up 20% and it's all over the place and you're hearing all this bullish news, then all of a sudden you want to buy, and it becomes a little bit more risky to buy at that time because we saw when it was at 330 up here, super high. Everyone's talking about XRP. It just 5x, and then all of a sudden a lot of people got in, retail got in, and then it came right back down to 230, 240. And I think that's there's never a safe time to buy. So this isn't financial advice, but when you're buying when the news is at an all-time high, when it's skyrocketing in price, it becomes more risky to buy at those times. When you're buying now, when we're between 2 and 240 and keep going back and forth waiting for something to happen, it becomes a little less risky to buy. So now's a good time to kind of add to your stash, add to your XRP vault if you believe in XRP. And if you do, I would just encourage you to hold for the long run with that long-term picture, because that's pretty bullish in my mind. But diving into some of the news regarding XRP, the big news going around right now is that the SEC may acknowledge Grayscale's XRP ETF 19B4 filing by February 13. That is tomorrow. That gets me excited if they can acknowledge Grayscale's filing. And along with that, looking at this chart, and I took a look at the filings for spot crypto ETFs. We're putting out relatively high odds of approval across the board, mainly focused on Litecoin, Solana, XRP, and Dogecoin for now. Here's the table with odds and some other details. So we had Solana. They got their 19B4 acknowledged, and their file date was 6 days before XRP. It got acknowledged on 2/6. It is now 2/12, so we are now 6 days after. So if it got approved or acknowledged today, we would be on that same timeline, but they have until tomorrow to acknowledge it, which would be very, very bullish and encouraging for the SEC to recognize that. Grayscale, Bitwise, Canary, 21 Shares, and Wisdom Tree, all firms that have filed those S1's 4-spot assets with XRP. And so if we get that acknowledgement today or tomorrow, that is very bullish. Again, that does not mean they are going to approve it. They will have until October 17 to officially approve it, but that is a big step in the right direction for that to happen, for them to acknowledge it, especially when it does not view it as a commodity. That being said, it does not view Solana as a commodity at the moment either, and that just got acknowledged, so there is still hope. And I do feel like we will get that clarity soon. So we could get some big news surrounding XRP later today or tomorrow. I'm staying tuned for that, so we can finally get a little bit of insight on what the SEC is thinking surrounding around XRP. And I feel like this will be a step in that direction. Saying that, we had former SEC counsel saying digital assets are not securities and the Gensler era lawsuit should be withdrawn. I'm not going to play the video for you, but you get the gist for it there, that former SEC counsel, and I know it's just one of them, so it doesn't say a whole lot, but it is a step in the right direction. It is bullish to hear some of them coming out and saying digital assets are not securities, Gensler era lawsuit should be withdrawn. So the fact the SEC is still pursuing that appeal, like, they're not backing down, so I hope we get some clarity soon. We were hoping we would get that clarity shortly after Trump got admitted into office. That didn't happen yet, and it sounds like it's still going to be quite a battle. But with that said, we did see this pro-XRP lawyer, Murphy, believes once Paul Atkins is officially confirmed, the SEC could move quickly to dismiss the case. He predicts his confirmation could happen within 60 days. So I feel like that's really what we're waiting for right now, is for Paul Atkins to get confirmed. And once he is, then we can start seeing this process expedite a little bit faster. So give me your thoughts below, comment below. Do you think that's something that can happen within the next 2 months? I think that's a realistic timeline. I think the next 1 to 2 months is a timeline for XRP. I feel like a lot of people are kind of getting antsy and rushing that timeline, but 30 to 60 days from now kind of seems more to be in a timeline that kind of matches up with what I'm thinking. And once this Paul Atkins is confirmed, I think we could see that expedite a little bit faster. Going off of that now, I came across this and found it quite interesting, and this will kind of dive into that price prediction coming up. But recently, RL-USD supply nearly doubled and drove over $400 billion in volume. $400 million in volume. Most don't understand the scale of Ripple's stable strategy. Soon it could include a $4 trillion economy, Japan. Here's what you need to know as XRP enters the next stage of growth. So Japan and XRP have been highly linked. Japan wants to integrate XRP. XRP wants to work with Japan. This is something that's been going on for a while now. And if this does happen, when it does happen, will we see other countries follow suit? $4 trillion getting added into the XRP ecosystem would be massive. So let's hear what Austin has to say on this thread. And Austin, for those of you who don't know, co-founder of Omni, sold his first company to Ripple XRP, computer science at Harvard. So he's a pretty well-known guy in the industry, with a lot of backing for what he says. So most people don't know how much market share Ripple has acquired in Japan. Ripple has now spent nearly a decade driving growth in this market. Where did it begin? While Ripple faced headwinds in the U.S. from the SEC lawsuit, it steadily drove growth in Asia. Ripple created a strategic consortium with over 60 banks in Japan, covering over $9 trillion in assets and 80% market share. They've already begun utilizing XRP. By leveraging XRP, Japanese citizens can achieve instant transfers throughout nearly the entire banking sector. This is huge validation of the utility that XRP is providing banks, but it could just be the beginning. So this is XRP's whole thing, providing those instant transfers through banks. They want to incorporate themselves into banks and be able to provide that instant transfer within 3 to 5 seconds, sending money anywhere in the world. Japan is utilizing this lots. Let's continue. It's possible that Ripple could leverage this consortium to launch a Japanese stablecoin. The Japanese yen could bring hundreds of billions in value to the network, over 100x from money on the network. So This would be massive for Ripple and massive for XRP and just a big step in the right direction. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you think would happen if this gets incorporated into Japan and the Japanese yen brings that billions of dollars in. So hearing this just gets me bullish, something to monitor, something to keep your eye on and your ears open to as we continue to follow XRP. XRP could become the network that governments across the world depend on to run their financial systems. If that happens, nothing we've seen so far will come even close to the growth that will happen. Help other people understand this. So that's kind of leads us into why people think we could go to $10,000 a coin. There's one more video I'm going to show you guys here in a second that kind of will touch on that as well. But it's this line of thinking where once XRP starts getting integrated into banks, if it gets integrated into the SWIFT system, we could see that price have to go to heights to be able to accommodate all of that. And so with that being said, I found this video kind of interesting and want you guys to take a look. Again, this is not financial advice by any means. I don't necessarily think this is going to happen, but want you guys to pay attention.
Think XRP can't hit $10,000 because of market cap. Market cap doesn't apply to XRP the way you think. It's built for high-speed transactions, settling in 3 to 5 seconds. This means the same XRP can be reused up to 50 times per day, moving $1 trillion.
So, going off of that, speaking of market cap, well, I believe market cap's a big indicator for your traditional stocks, and I feel like it can be a good source to start with for crypto. I don't feel like it can be used the same when talking about crypto as it can with your traditional stock, because we're still learning so much about crypto and these different coins and what their utility is going to be. Like if all of a sudden XRP got announced they were going to be integrated into banks, if they were going to start taking over Swift and be integrated with Swift somehow, you're going to see that price just skyrocket because the utility went up. And so using market cap as a limiting factor, like, while I think it's a good starting point, but if something big happens for a coin, like, it can go up to, like, is it going to go to $10,000 a coin? I think market cap might be a limiting factor there, but could it go up to $589? Could it go up to $1,000? Possibly, because you just don't know what the utility for these coins, and the market cap for now is being talked about when that utility is not in place, when it's not being used, how it could potentially be used. So I just wanted to give my thoughts on that.
Daily needs just $20 billion in liquidity, not $1 trillion. Now, picture a tokenized global economy worth $1 to $2 quadrillion. If XRP handles just 10%, that's trillions in daily settlements. To support this, XRP's price must reach $10,000 or more. Here's another factor. XRP's circulating supply is limited to 53 billion tokens. For global liquidity, the price must be high enough to handle massive volumes. With institutions, CBDCs, and governments adopting XRP, demand will only grow. Here's why market cap doesn't matter. XRP's value isn't speculation. It's utility. It facilitates massive global transactions efficiently. The price must reflect this demand, not an arbitrary market cap calculation. The future is tokenized, and XRP is built for the next era of finance. Think XRP can hit $10,000? Drop XRP below and stay tuned for more.
So there you have it. They think XRP is going to $10,000 because of the utility. Could that happen? I mean, never say never, but I don't think $10,000 is super realistic, at least not in the next 5 to 10 years. That may be way down the line, but I think in the next 5 to 10 years we're going to be looking still quite optimistic, but a little lower than that. One of the other things I wanted to touch on, though, in regard to that is a lot of people will say, like, oh, if XRP gets to $10,000, tons of billionaires are going to be created. Do we really want all these billionaires created? Like, it's not going to be able to reach that height. But when thinking about that, how many people that hold, like, XRP right now would hold until it reached $10,000 to become a billionaire? I mean, you're going to see a large percentage come millionaires and then just sell their XRP, become a millionaire, be done, and then it would keep going up. They'd have to buy back in at higher prices. So when they say, like, oh, this many holders of XRP right now would become multi-billionaires if it went to $10,000. The realistic chances that those people hold until it reaches $10,000, very small. I think people will hit $1 million, that psychological barrier. They're going to sell most of their XRP. I believe if they get to $10 million, they're going to sell a lot of their XRP. So if XRP hits 589, for example, which is a huge psychological barrier for XRP in a lot of people's minds, like the top, are they gonna? I think we're gonna see a lot of people sell all their XRP if that happens. They're gonna think that's the top, and then institutions from then could take it higher, and they wouldn't have to worry about more billionaires being created, as the money would be with institutions or governments or whatever, banks, whatever it ends up being. So when people say like, oh, so many billionaires will be created, I don't use that as a limiting factor for price, just like I don't necessarily use market cap for a limiting factor for cryptocurrencies. Well, I think they are both leading factor, like good guides for starting off, like when going off of prices for the short term, and they can be useful for a lot of scenarios when looking at the long term until you really know how it's going to be utilized, what that utility looks like, who's going to incorporate it, if these ETFs get filed, if strategic reserves get filed, if it gets integrated into banks, if it gets integrated into Swift. Like, putting a cap on the price just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So kind of wanted to touch on that, give you guys my thoughts. $10,000, just like that video said, I think it's a bit unrealistic. If you guys do think it could get to $10,000, leave your comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Is that actually possible? I'm not saying it's not. I think it could take a while, but it would be pretty freaking cool if it did. That's why I'm always going to hold at least a small portion of my XRP just in case it does. I do think at some point I'll end up selling on the way to $10,000, but just because of that possibility, I feel like I'm always going to hold a small bag just in case it does. But love to hear you guys' thoughts, what you guys think is possible with XRP. Could we get to 589? Could we get to 1,000? Could we get to $10,000? And what do you think would have to happen for it to do so? And along with that, do you think the SEC case ends within 60 days? Would love to hear your thoughts on that as well. So please like, please subscribe, please comment below. I'd love to interact with you guys. Thank you so much for your support. And other than that, I will talk to you guys next time.